Speak up, girl. Marta's voice cracked like a whip, her smile razor-thin. 2 hours, or I'll handle this personally. Lennox money keeps this place running, act accordingly. The door slammed with finality. Calla slumped against the counter, defeat weighing her shoulders. 2 hours to complete what should take 6. Her breath caught as the bell chimed again, not Victoria returning, but a young courier clutching a sleek black envelope. Calla Arbor. His voice carried urban efficiency. She nodded, accepting the envelope with trembling fingers. On the back, an embossed wolf's head gleamed, elegant yet predatory. The seal broke with a whisper, revealing crisp paper bearing bold text, "You are hereby summoned to Wolf Enterprises headquarters tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp." Summoned. The word twisted in her stomach like a blade. The city's glass towers pierced the morning sky, monuments to wealth Calla could never touch. She stepped off the bus, clutching the black envelope like a talisman, and stared up at Wolf Enterprises, a mirrored monolith that dwarfed everything around it. Her modest blouse and scuffed flats felt painfully inadequate reflected in those gleaming doors. "Perfect," she muttered. "I'm the before picture in someone else's success story." A stone-faced guard materialized, opening the door without preamble. "Miss Arbor. Follow me." The lobby struck her like a physical blow. Endless marble stretched beneath crystal chandeliers, the air perfumed with leather and citrus. She was an understudy who'd wandered onto the wrong stage. The guard's keycard whispered against a reader, and elevator doors slid open to reveal gold trim and black leather. "Penthouse," he said. "Good luck." The doors sealed her fate before she could ask what she'd need luck for. The elevator's hum matched her racing pulse. When the doors parted, they revealed an office that commanded the city itself, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the skyline like a painting, streams of light falling across a desk that seemed carved from midnight itself. "Miss Arbor." The voice sent electricity down her spine, deep, smooth, absolute in its authority. He stood silhouetted against the windows, and when he turned, Calla forgot how to breathe. Lucian Wolf embodied perfection, tailored suit molded to his frame, dark hair catching the light, cheekbones sharp enough to cut glass. But his blue eyes held something that transcended mere beauty, raw power that both drew and terrified, a predatory stillness that spoke of ancient instincts barely leashed. "Thank you for coming on such short notice." His smile never touched those penetrating eyes, and something wild flickered in their depths. Calla found her voice. "I wasn't given much choice in the matter." Amusement ghosted across his features. "Fair point. Please, sit." The leather chair embraced her as his gaze settled over her like a physical weight. Recognition sparked, primal, inexplicable, dangerous. "Do you know why you're here?" Your invitation was deliberately vague. He leaned back, fingers steepled. "We've been observing you, Miss Arbor. Your work has attracted attention. When I recognize potential, I don't let it slip away. There must be some mistake. I'm a seamstress, nothing more." His smile sharpened, predatory. "You're far more than that." Heat bloomed in her cheeks. His scent reached her, cedar, musk, something wild that made her pulse quicken. He moved with fluid grace, pouring water with unsettling precision. "I value perfection, Miss Arbor. Every thread, every seam. I see that same precision in your work. It's rare. Valuable. Thank you." The words barely escaped her throat. He set the glass down with quiet finality, those intense eyes capturing hers. "You're going to work for me." The declaration hit like thunder. "What? I don't understand." "You will." His tone brooked no argument. "The terms will be generous, but I require absolute loyalty and discretion." "Why me? Why now?" His expression softened fractionally, though the predatory gleam remained. A storm approaches, Miss Arbor. You have a role to play, whether you're ready or not. The room tilted. Calla gripped the armrests as her pulse hammered against her ribs. I'll give you time to consider, Lucian said, rising. Not much time. I need your decision by week's end. The security guard materialized at the door. This way, Miss Arbor. Calla stood on unsteady legs, clutching the envelope. In the elevator's descent, her reflection stared back, wide-eyed, transformed by something she couldn't name. Loyalty and discretion, she whispered to her mirror image. What have I walked into? Calla's fingers hovered over the leather portfolio as questions swarmed her mind like angry wasps. What exactly am I agreeing to? She forced steadiness into her voice. Lucian leaned back, watching her with unsettling focus. A partnership, Miss Arbor. Mutually beneficial. Partnership. She raised an eyebrow. I'm hardly in the league for partnering with billionaires. His low chuckle sent shivers racing down her spine. That's precisely what makes you perfect. You're untouched by my world's corruption. The observation felt oddly intimate. Cryptic answers seem to be your specialty. Do you always hire people without explaining their duties? Only when circumstances demand it. The contract contains everything you need to know, nothing beyond your capabilities. Calla frowned, drumming her fingers against the desk. Every instinct screamed danger, yet stubborn curiosity held her in place. Look, whatever power game you're playing, I won't sign mysterious contracts just because you think I'm perfect. I need specifics. His lips curved appreciatively. Reasonable. He rose with fluid deliberation and moved to the windows. Calla watched his silhouette, feeling the air itself thicken with tension. Wolf Enterprises deals in power, Miss Arbor. Not merely financial, influence, territory, legacy. He turned, those piercing blue eyes locking onto hers. You're part of that legacy, whether you realize it or not. Her heart stumbled. What are you saying? I'm just a seamstress. Nothing special about that. You're wrong. Your instincts, your precision, your resilience, they're indicators of something far greater. Something. He paused, studying her face. Calla stared back, pulse pounding. Should she laugh? Argue? Run? You make it sound like I'm the chosen one in some fantasy novel. His head tilted thoughtfully. Perhaps that's not as far from the truth as you think. Right. She threw up her hands. This is officially the strangest job interview ever. And I once had someone ask me to sew matching outfits for her and her chihuahua. His chuckle held a dangerous edge that made the air thrum with electricity. Her unease deepened. Why don't you tell me what you really want? She demanded, folding her arms. His expression shifted, amusement vanishing. He stepped closer, and she felt his presence like a force of nature. I want to protect what belongs to me. And whether you accept it or not, Calla, you're part of that now. Her breath caught. The words carried an intensity that both terrified and fascinated her. You keep making these cryptic statements, as if you possess knowledge I don't. He leaned forward, palms flat against the desk. I do. Silence stretched between them. Every instinct urged her to flee, yet his confidence, his unshakable certainty, kept her rooted. She forced a nervous laugh. Do you rehearse this routine? The mysterious billionaire act is very convincing. His lips twitched. I don't need rehearsal, Miss Arbor. I think you know that. Her stomach performed acrobatics. She hated how easily he unsettled her equilibrium. You know what? I think I need time to. He reached across the desk, flipping the portfolio open. Time is a luxury we lack. Read it. Sign it. You won't regret the decision. She glanced at the contract's dense text. Details really aren't your strong suit, are they? He straightened, his gaze softening almost imperceptibly. Some truths can't be explained, Calla. They can only be experienced. She stared at him, mind churning. Part of her wanted to bolt for the door. Another part wondered if this moment would change everything. Fine, she said, sharper than intended. But if this is some elaborate prank, I'm returning with scissors. His smirk returned, satisfied and predatory. I wouldn't expect anything less. Her hand trembled over the pen. The decision's weight pressed down like stone. She glanced at Lucian, hoping for reassurance, but found his expression unreadable. Drawing a steadying breath, she grasped the pen and signed her name. As ink dried on paper, his smirk widened with triumph. Welcome to Wolf Enterprises, Miss Arbor. A shiver coursed through her. She'd stepped into something far larger and more dangerous than imagination could conjure. Her fate was now irrevocably intertwined with his. Calla clutched her overnight bag as the sleek SUV glided through wrought iron gates toward Lucian's estate. She'd known he was wealthy, but this mansion belonged in architectural magazines, glass and stone in perfect harmony, surrounded by manicured gardens and dancing fountains. Her clearance rack clothes felt absurdly inadequate. Intimidating, isn't it? Lucian's voice cut through her awe. He sat beside her, relaxed yet watchful. That's one word for it, she managed, voice wavering. His lips curved in that maddening smirk. You'll adapt. Highly doubtful, she muttered, earning a soft chuckle. The SUV stopped before a grand entrance where staff waited in formation. Calla shrank as a tall man in a crisp suit opened her door. Miss Arbor. Welcome to the estate. Thank you. She stepped onto stone that probably cost more than her yearly rent. Lucian dismissed the staff with a gesture, leaving only one man, striking, with amber eyes and an expression so neutral it bordered on hostile. His scent carried something wilder than Lucian's, more dangerous. Calla, this is Rowan, my second in command. She offered a small wave. Hi there. Rowan didn't reciprocate. Miss Arbor. His voice carried Arctic temperatures. Rowan, she replied, sarcasm barely concealed. Her skin prickled under his assessment. This man had seen things that would haunt ordinary people. Rowan will help you settle in, Lucian stated, brooking no argument. Calla blinked. You're not giving me the tour personally. Business requires my attention. Rowan is perfectly capable. He strode toward the house, leaving her awkwardly beside his second. Wonderful, she muttered. The interior overwhelmed her senses, soaring ceilings, marble floors, windows flooding everything with light. This was a gallery, not a home. Every surface gleamed with perfection, making her sneakers squeak accusingly with each step. This way, Rowan said curtly, leading her up a grand staircase. So, do you get many visitors, or am I the lucky lottery winner? Rowan didn't look back. You're the first. First. Her brow furrowed. Lucian doesn't usually bring people here. Rowan stopped at the landing, amber eyes boring into hers with uncomfortable intensity. Lucian doesn't trust easily. If you're here, there's a reason. Don't forget that. Thanks for the warm welcome, she shot back, bravado wearing thin. Her assigned room was larger than her entire apartment, king-sized bed with pristine linens, sitting area overlooking breathtaking gardens. She set her bag down, feeling like an imposter in paradise. This will be your room. Use the intercom for anything you need. Right. Thanks. The word felt hollow. Rowan lingered, sharp gaze cataloging her like a threat assessment, then left without ceremony. Calla collapsed onto the bed, exhaling heavily. This is insane. What am I doing here? The day blurred past in awkward encounters with staff who treated her like fragile crystal. By dinner, her skin crawled with discomfort. The dining room intimidated with its vast table set for two at opposite ends. Lucian was already seated, his business attire replaced by a casual shirt that made him even more devastatingly attractive. "Enjoying your stay?" His tone was casual, but his eyes remained sharp. "It's overwhelming," she admitted. "You'll adjust." Calla bristled. "You say that like it's inevitable." "Because it is." His certainty made her stomach clench. After dinner, she wandered the halls seeking space to breathe. At a window overlooking the gardens, she stopped. "This place feels like a beautiful prison," she whispered. "Interesting perspective," a voice said behind her. She spun, Rowan, leaning against the wall with arms crossed. "Do you always lurk in shadows?" His mouth quirked slightly. "Just maintaining security." "Right. Because I'm such a formidable threat." His almost smile faded into seriousness. "You don't understand what you've entered, Calla. None of this is coincidence." "What do you mean?" Before he could answer, Lucian's voice cut through the air like a blade. "Rowan." The single word carried absolute command. Rowan straightened instantly. "Alpha." Calla's confusion deepened as Lucian appeared, ignoring her completely, his focus laser-sharp on Rowan. "A word. Now." Rowan nodded and followed Lucian down the corridor, leaving Calla alone with racing thoughts. Curiosity overrode caution. She crept after them, keeping to shadows, and pressed herself against the wall outside a partially open door. "She's not ready," Rowan's voice, low and firm. "She doesn't need to be ready," Lucian replied with calm authority. "She'll learn through necessity." Rowan hesitated. "And if she doesn't adapt?" Lucian's tone turned arctic, sending ice through Calla's veins. "Then she won't survive what's coming." Her breath caught, pulse hammering. "What have I gotten myself into?" She slipped away unnoticed, mind reeling with implications she couldn't yet grasp. Calla's pulse thundered as she pressed against the wall outside Lucian's study, breath shallow with fear and fascination. Eavesdropping had become a dangerous habit, but Lucian's sharp tone and the stranger's rumbling growl held her captive. "Your pack grows weaker by the day, Lucian." The voice carried menace like a physical force. "You can't afford to ignore the fractures spreading through your foundation." "I ignore nothing," Lucian's response was deadly calm, each word precisely controlled. "My pack remains strong. We honor our agreements. If you've come to challenge that, choose your next words carefully." Calla risked a glance through the crack. The rival alpha commanded attention, tall, broad-shouldered, weathered skin stretched over powerful muscle, golden eyes gleaming like molten metal. Feral energy coiled around him like a living thing. Beside him, Lucian appeared controlled, but tension lined his jaw and his blue eyes held an otherworldly glow. "I haven't come to challenge you," the stranger said, smirking. "Not yet." "Then you're wasting my time, Yerrick." Jarek's smirk widened with predatory satisfaction. "I came to offer warning. Your pack shows vulnerability, not just from external threats. Keep your house in order, Wolf, or someone else will do it for you." Lucian's growl rumbled low and dangerous, raising every hair on Calla's arms. "Leave. Now." Yerrick turned toward the door, and Calla flattened herself against the wall, heart hammering. Well, Yerrick said, golden eyes locking onto hers with laser precision. "What have we here?" "A human in the wolf's den." Terror spiked through her, but Calla refused to cower. "I'm not just a human. I'm part of this pack." Her voice held steady despite her racing pulse. Jarek's chuckle was dark honey over broken glass. "Is that so? Tell me, little human, what exactly is your role here?" Words scattered like startled birds. Before she could respond, Lucian's voice cut through the tension like a blade. She's none of your concern. He stepped between them, calm mask barely containing the fury blazing in his eyes. Jarek's gaze lingered on Calla with calculating interest. Careful, Wolf. Attachments can become liabilities. Indignation flared in Calla's chest. I think you've overstayed your welcome. The words emerged sharper than intended, fueled by unexpected courage. Surprise flickered across Jarek's features. Feisty. I'll grant you that. Goodbye, Jarek, Lucian said with finality that brooked no argument. Jarek departed without ceremony, leaving crackling tension in his wake. Lucian rounded on Calla, eyes blazing with blue fire. What were you thinking? She straightened, chin lifting defiantly. I'm tired of being treated like I don't belong here. You could have been hurt. His voice rose, fear and fury warring in his expression. Do you comprehend how dangerous he is? I didn't invite his taunts. But I held my ground. They faced each other, air charged with electricity. Something shifted in Lucian's expression, admiration threading through his anger. You're infuriating, he said softly, exasperation rumbling like distant thunder. You're welcome. Her voice found steadier ground. His lips twitched despite everything. You're stronger than I anticipated. You're not exactly easy to impress. Heat crept up her neck. He chuckled, the sound carrying warmth she hadn't expected. You'd be surprised. Jarek's visit sent ripples through the pack. Whispers followed Calla through corridors, she faced down Jarek. Didn't even flinch. Even Rowan offered a curt nod of acknowledgement. Progress, however small. Marceline remained ice incarnate. Don't let the attention inflate your ego. One moment of bravery doesn't make you one of us. I don't need your approval, Marceline. Calla's voice held newfound strength. Marceline's smile could have frozen flame. Excellent. You'll never receive it. She glided away, leaving Calla alone with her thoughts. Later, she found Lucian in his study, staring into middle distance. You're unusually quiet. Processing. This world, it's more complex than I imagined. His gaze softened with something approaching tenderness. I know the transition isn't easy. Why do you carry this burden? All of it. He leaned back, weariness creeping into his posture. Because I must. The pack depends on my strength. The words carried weight that bent his shoulders. For the first time, she saw beyond the alpha facade, the man beneath, vulnerable and achingly human despite his supernatural nature. You're not as invincible as you pretend. His lips quirked upward. And you're not as fragile as you believe, Calla. Their eyes held, raw honesty crackling between them like live wire. Connection deepened beyond mere attraction into something that terrified and thrilled her. The peace shattered when Rowan entered, expression grim as winter. Jarek left something. He handed Lucian a folded paper. Lucian read, his jaw tightening with each word. What is it? Calla asked. His eyes darkened like storm clouds. A warning. About rebellion within our own ranks. Calla's chest constricted. She was no longer merely part of this world, she was trapped in its center, with nowhere left to run. Dawn broke gray and heavy over the estate, as if the sky itself mourned the pack's fractured state. Calla woke to muffled voices carrying urgency through her door. She dressed quickly and stepped into corridors thick with tension. In the dining room, Lucian, Rowan, and Ezekiel hunched over maps and photographs like generals planning war. They fell silent as she entered. Don't stop on my account, Calla said, sharper than intended. I've earned the right to know what's happening. Lucian exchanged glances with Rowan, who stepped back with reluctant acceptance. Ezekiel studied her with calculating eyes. It wasn't Yerrick, Lucian said without preamble. Last night's attack came from within the pack. Her heart plummeted. Someone here betrayed you. His nod carried the weight of personal failure. A splinter group. They've been feeding intelligence to Jarek's rogues. Why would they do that? Her voice cracked with disbelief. They've lost faith in my leadership. They believe they can forge a better path without me. The admission hung between them like a death sentence. Calla's gaze fell on a blurry surveillance photo. Who's that? Tasha, Lucian said tightly. One of our own who chose treachery. The woman appeared young, close to Calla's age. How does someone reach that point? By allowing doubt to fester into hatred, Rowan observed, voice low and bitter. Calla frowned. What does any of this have to do with me? Lucian moved to the window, silhouette rigid against morning light. They're not just targeting me. You're on their list as well. Her stomach dropped like a stone. Me? Why would they want me? He turned, expression unreadable. Because of your bloodline. My what? It's complicated, he said with familiar evasion. Then uncomplicate it. Frustration exploded from her chest. I've been dragged into this supernatural nightmare without explanation. I'm done with cryptic hints. If I'm a target, I deserve the truth. Lucian's jaw worked silently. Rowan interjected calmly, she's right. If she's staying, she needs complete disclosure. Lucian sighed, running fingers through dark hair. Fine. But we discuss this properly later. Ezekiel, take her to the training grounds. The training grounds nestled deep in surrounding forest, wooden practice dummies, sparring mats, weapon racks, all carrying the scent of pine and metallic determination. Ezekiel handed her padded gloves. You're going to learn survival. Fantastic, Calla muttered, working her hands into the padding. Last night wasn't traumatic enough. Sarcasm won't save you, Ezekiel said dryly. Neither will this. She gestured at herself. I'm not built for combat. Then we'll rebuild you. He stepped back, assessing. First lesson, balance. Without it, you're prey. The training proved brutal. Muscles screamed, lungs burned, sweat stung her eyes. But as minutes stretched into hours, rhythm emerged. Her movements gained fluidity, revealing strength she'd never known she possessed. Rowan arrived to observe, amber eyes tracking her progress. After she landed a solid punch on the training dummy, he remarked, she's not terrible. Calla wiped sweat from her brow. That's the closest thing to a compliment I've gotten from you. His mouth quirked slightly. Don't let it go to your head. Ezekiel chuckled. You have potential. Just remember, your enemies won't show mercy. Neither should you. She nodded, chest tight with newfound determination and lingering dread. This was her reality now, leaving no room for hesitation or second-guessing. Later, Calla sat across from Lucian in his study, muscles aching but resolve crystallized into steel. Tell me the truth about my bloodline. All of it. He hesitated, eyes searching her face. Your family belonged to the pack generations ago. They left, severing all ties and taking something precious with them. She leaned forward. What kind of something? Magic. His gaze never wavered. Your bloodline carries rare magic tied directly to pack strength and survival. That's why Yerrick wants you. Why I need to protect you. The words crashed over her like ice water. You're telling me I'm some kind of supernatural battery for your pack? Yes, he said quietly but firmly. Calla stared, chest constricting with betrayal and fear. And you didn't think to mention this minor detail sooner? She laughed bitterly. Congratulations on the spectacular communication failure. Lucian stepped closer, his presence overwhelming. He cupped her face gently, thumb tracing her cheekbone with devastating tenderness. Calla, I know this is overwhelming. I haven't handled it well. But you're not alone in this. I'll do whatever it takes to keep you safe. His sincerity caught her completely off guard. The mate bond, unspoken but undeniable, thrummed between them with electric intensity. You'd better, she said quietly. Because if I go down, I'm taking you with me. His chuckle held genuine warmth. I wouldn't expect anything less. They stood in charged silence, the weight of their intertwined fate settling around them like destiny itself. The battle was far from over, but they would face it together. The estate's grand library wrapped around Calla like a sanctuary, fire crackling in the hearth while she tried to process the morning's revelations. Her magical bloodline, Jarek's hunt, Lucian's dependence on her power, the pack's grudging acceptance, no pressure at all, she thought bitterly. Footsteps echoed on marble. Marceline appeared, sharp gaze narrowing like a blade. Should have known I'd find you hiding here. Looking for escapist literature. Calla crossed her arms. What do you want, Marceline? The blonde approached with predatory grace, ice-blue eyes calculating. I want to understand why you're still here. Besides being magically tied to this supernatural soap opera. Not much choice. Just enjoying the hostile hospitality. Marceline's lips curved into a smile that could cut glass. You think this is amusing? Do you comprehend what your presence costs us? Irritation flared in Calla's chest. Excuse me. I didn't volunteer for this nightmare. No, but now that you're here, we're paying the price. The pack is divided, Lucian is distracted, and Jarek's forces are closing in. Guilt twisted in Calla's stomach, but she held her ground. You're blaming me for circumstances beyond my control. Marceline stepped closer, radiating Arctic hostility. You are a liability, Calla. A weakness Lucian can't afford. If you truly care about this pack, if you care about him, you'll leave. The words struck like physical blows. Running away will solve this. Jarek won't abandon his hunt just because I disappear. It would make me a bigger target. Marceline's jaw tightened. At least then you'd be out of our way. Wow. Calla's voice trembled with contained fury. And here I thought we were bonding. Marceline's frigid smile returned. Consider it friendly advice. You don't belong here, Calla. You never will. She departed with feline grace, leaving Calla alone with racing thoughts. Calla sank into a leather armchair, chest heaving with suppressed emotion. Marceline's words echoed like poison, doubt, fear, inadequacy. Maybe she was right. Maybe Calla was just fooling herself about belonging anywhere in this world. But Marceline didn't know her strength. If they expected her to crumble under pressure, they were about to learn otherwise. Later, Lucian found her in the garden as sunset painted long shadows across manicured grounds. She stood by the fountain, lost in thought. You've been avoiding me. She didn't turn. Can you blame me? He approached slowly, presence like a gathering storm. You're angry. What gave it away? Sarcasm colored her tone. He sighed deeply. I know this isn't the life you wanted, Calla. None of it's fair. She whirled to face him, eyes blazing. Fair. My entire existence has been turned upside down because of you and your pack. Now I discover I'm some kind of magical power source for your alpha abilities. It's not like that. You're more than your bloodline, more than just magical energy. Am I? Her voice cracked with vulnerability. Right now, it feels like that's the only reason anyone tolerates my presence. His gaze softened with something approaching tenderness. He reached out, cupping her chin and tilting her face toward his. Those deep blue eyes held hers with hypnotic intensity. I know this transition is difficult. I haven't made it easier by keeping secrets. But you're not here solely because of your bloodline, Calla. You're here because you're strong, because you matter. To the pack. To me. Her breath hitched at his sincerity. The mate bond thrummed between them like a live wire, his thumb stroking her cheek with devastating gentleness. He stepped back, expression growing serious. I won't force you to stay. If you want to leave, I'll ensure your protection. But if you stay, it won't be easy. This life demands sacrifices. You'll face them repeatedly. And if I stay, she whispered. Then we fight together. For the pack's survival. For each other. The weight of his words settled over her like a mantle, warm, powerful, terrifying in its implications. She felt the gravity of choice, the path that would define everything. That night, Calla sat in her room staring at moonlit gardens, weighing Marceline's harsh truths against Lucian's promises. Everything she'd endured, everything she'd learned about herself in this dangerous new world. Running would be easy, safe, familiar. Staying meant something else entirely: courage, commitment, transformation. Her jaw set with quiet determination. She rose, resolution flooding her veins like liquid fire. The next morning, Calla found Lucian in his study, looking up as she entered with purposeful stride. I'm staying, she announced, voice steady and resolute. He stood slowly, eyes locking onto hers, relief and satisfaction lighting his features. On my terms. No, she said firmly, stepping closer. On mine. His lips curved into appreciation, then spread into a slow, predatory grin that made her pulse race. Fair enough. Understanding settled between them like a contract signed in blood. Calla knew this was only the beginning of something vast and dangerous. The mate bond pulsed with thrilling anticipation, promising trials and triumphs yet to come. Days blurred into intensive preparation as Calla threw herself into Ezekiel's rigorous training. Pine scent and honest sweat became familiar companions while she pushed her body beyond previous limits, sharpening instincts she'd never known existed. In Lucian's dusty library, she devoured ancient texts, unraveling her bloodline's mysteries thread by thread. The magic hummed beneath her skin like dormant electricity, intensifying whenever Lucian drew near. He, in turn, peeled back layers of his world like gift wrapping, hidden passages, intricate pack politics, ancestral stories of triumph and devastating loss. The wall between them crumbled, replaced by connection that deepened with each shared moment. He spoke of his wolf with reverence tinged by longing, describing the mate bond as sacred and irrevocable. She began to see beyond the alpha mask, the burden he carried, the loneliness that haunted his eyes even in moments of triumph. One evening after particularly brutal training, Calla found refuge in the library's warmth. Lucian entered without ceremony, his presence immediately comforting. He stirred the fire, sending wood smoke curling through air already thick with unspoken tension. You're learning quickly, he observed, voice carrying intimate approval. The stakes are high, she replied simply. He moved closer, hands settling near hers on the ancient oak table. You're not just learning for the pack anymore, are you? Her breath caught at his proximity. She met his gaze and found those deep blue eyes reflecting firelight like precious stones, raw desire making her tremble. No, she whispered. I'm learning for us. He reached out slowly, cupping her jaw with calloused fingers, tilting her head with infinite care. His touch sent electricity through every nerve. Calla, he murmured, voice thick with longing, a low growl of need. My mate. He leaned in gradually, giving her time to retreat. She didn't want to. Her eyes fluttered closed as his lips found hers, soft at first, then deepening with fierce, possessive hunger that stole her breath. Fire and storm, ancient instincts awakening, desires she'd never acknowledged. His arms wrapped around her, crushing her against his solid warmth. She melted into him. Will you stand by my side, guide our pack, and rule with me, now and forever? Calla's eyes glistened. Her heart overflowed. I will, she whispered, voice filled with certainty. Always. Lucian drew the ceremonial dagger from the secret library. Swiftly, he made a small incision on his palm. A single drop of dark blood. Calla, without hesitation, mirrored him. Their hands clasped, blood mingling, magic intertwining, sealing their bond. A soft, golden light enveloped them, visible to every pack member. As the light faded, Lucian's wolf howled, long, triumphant, echoed by every wolf. A primal chorus of acceptance, loyalty, joy. Lucian turned to the pack, Calla still firmly by his side, their clasped hands raised high. Witness, my pack. Witness your Luna. The pack knelt, reverence sweeping the clearing. Calla was no longer Calla the seamstress. She was Calla, Luna of the wolf pack, fierce, powerful, irrevocably bound to the alpha she loved. The challenges would persist, new threats would undoubtedly emerge. But they would face them together, their bond unbreakable, their individual strengths amplifying one another. Calla, with her quiet resilience and awakened magic, and Lucian, the powerful alpha with a heart now fully open, would lead their pack into a new era, their reign a testament to love forged in the crucible of chaos, and a bond that whispered of forever. This was not just a new beginning, but a reign, a culmination of all they had fought for, together. If you enjoyed this thrilling romance, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment with your favorite moment, and subscribe to my channel for more captivating stories because your support helps me bring more tales of love and magic to life.